you
Well,
doing, Pat?
howdy, Bill. How you doing?
I'm doing pretty well. We're having some really hot weather here, Pat. It's got to be like 77 degrees today. I mean, whenever it gets anything out of that narrow band between 72 and 75, people in California lose their stuff. And yeah, I hear other states are not quite as well off as that right now.
No, in fact, my old stomping grounds up there in Northeast Ohio got hit with a total of 4 tornadoes.
Oh my gosh.
Yes, one is in my old neighborhood in Avon, Ohio, tore stuff up. It was actually one of the worst ones, 104 mile an hour. And then Parma, which is actually my old school stomping
Mhm.
grounds and where my parents lived, that's all tore up real bad. Ashtabula got hit pretty good in Ohio, and I think was Brook Park was pretty bad. It
Wow.
it's bad. Like, hey, I told Bonnie, I was like, boy, we sure missed that one moving to Florida. And then a hurricane comes, it totally misses us, which is great. It goes on the Gulf side and hits up to I call it the armpit of Florida and up the coast, and it's messing with all them people up there. So we lucked out. We lucked out pretty good so far, but yeah, pretty crazy.
I'll tell you, I would never wish a tornado even on somebody I didn't like. That's not cool. There's serious destruction goes on with those. And man, that's rough. So my hat's off to all the people who have endured that and the heat wave and everything else these last few weeks. So Pat, we've got some one thing I want to cover with our listeners and our readers today. Many of us are familiar with the concept of a force multiplier. It's something that's used in combat where you're able to take a smaller force and with everyone working together, create this force multiplication and really exert a lot of pressure. And we need that. We need that right now. We are in a flat out battle against YouTube, which of course is, that's controlled by the oligarchs of the tech world. And they honestly would very much love to see gun culture in general go away in America. So we need the help of the people who enjoy this podcast to help us expand in spite of that pressure. We need you to share the content, share it on multiple platforms. X is a great place to share our content if you have a following there. It's real easy. You can just click the little share icon on the YouTube video and send it right to X. It'll create the post for you. It's a pretty good way to help us get the word out and keep it out. And traffic in the comments, that goes a long way to generating action within the algorithm that is YouTube that drives views, and that really helps us. Also, if you could just let us play, even if you don't have time to watch us and you want to listen to it in the car, that's fine. But maybe start a video on a tab and just let it go. That really gets the algorithm thinking that there's it's being consumed and it's desirable. So maybe some folks say, oh well, I'm not really interested in this topic, and they check out early. So give us a little bit of a lift here, and it can really help make the difference. And I do want to applaud everyone for getting us over the 500 subs. We're now actually deeply past that. And that is huge. I also checked our analytics today, and we are 2/3 of the way to the minimum milestone for becoming monetized on YouTube.
Wow,
with everything else that's going on, it's like I say, it's an uphill battle, guys, and we need the help lifting. But Pat, I'm told that the Airgun Geeks have made some arrangements for a little extra financial support that our viewers can use, and that you have been instrumental in getting that going with a group that helps us share affiliate links. And maybe
Correct.
you can talk about the kinds of links that we're going to be showcasing in the future. And we're actually going to roll these links out to all of the previous content. So you'll be able to find them on any episode, any content. But this is so huge to me because it is things that us air gunners and outdoorsmen, we're spending this money anyway, but I don't want to give it away, Pat. I want you to tell us who we've got in the wings that we're going to start actually partnering with in the future.
Yeah. So it's really, really cool. So if you've ever thought about how can I help the Airgun geeks without actually paying them anything directly?
I wonder that all the time, Pat.
So there is a way. So through much conversations and discussions with many people and local people here that have helped me, along with Bill, we have partnered with Airgun Depot. Those that have watched the past couple videos have seen an Airgun Depot link, and it takes you right to the website. It doesn't give any discounts. We'll be upfront on that, but we do get a commission off of everything you bought. And I'm like, well, that's easy. I'm spending the money anyway, so why not? And then we've also partnered with Bass Pro Shops and Cabela. Now, who
Those
doesn't
are
shop there? Huge. So I do all my online shopping anyways when I go to Bass Pro Shops, and I could drive right there. But I go online, order everything, go to the pickup, boom, done. I don't have to walk around and accidentally get stuck in the fishing section and buy more stuff. It's a lot like
that could be expensive. That could be expensive.
Yeah.
Walk out of there with a bass boat or something.
It's almost happened. Yes. And it's also quick and easy. That's what I like about it. But by doing that, you are directly helping Bill and I pay to do all of this stuff, travel places, get to RMAC, do the interviews that you've seen, update our equipment, have StreamYard and all the technologies with this. It's absolutely changed the podcast and changed Bill's and I life as far as what we're able to do because of all the support. The sponsors are great, but if everyone does just a little bit, it moves the world.
Yeah,
it's
I think it's important to reiterate that using our links on Airgun Depot or Bass Pro or Cabela's doesn't cost you guys anything. It's the same price. And in fact, Pat, you had mentioned that it doesn't get you a discount, but we do have that option that when there are specials, we can, if we have content that's a little more timely than a podcast, which takes a little while to put together. But if it's, we can actually announce that, hey guys, right now there is a sale on at Airgun Depot. Use our link to get there, and here's the coupon code. We do have access to that level of things, and along with Bass Pro and Cabela's as well. So, there's some real opportunity there to really not only give our viewers and listeners a path to helping the Airgun Geeks, we also have an opportunity to give them news and things that can help them save money on their purchases for the outdoor world as well. So I'm so excited that we're able to get our arms around this and pull it together. That coupled with our sponsors is just epic.
Yeah. Now, so if you're not sorry to cut you off, Bill, but before I forget, if you're not part of the Facebook page, Airgun Geeks podcast, you need to be part of that. And what I will also say, I've whispered this to Bill, but thanks to Bonnie, we are millimeters away from actually launching the official Airgun Geeks website.
So there'll be a one-stop shop. Is this what they call edging, Pat? Is that
just a little bit? It's a little plug. Okay. And just some of the things that we're going to have on there. We'll have local events, some news, of course, links. The podcast, you'll be able to grab the current ones and a couple of the past ones off there. All the cool stuff that Bill and I are doing.
Get quick access to all of our affiliate links as well, and help support the Airgun Geeks.
and any of the upcoming sales. So that'd be the it'd be like a news board, you know, that kind of thing. So yeah, a lot of exciting stuff going on, especially for
Very good.
2025 coming up.
Very good. And we'll probably have an email list as well that's associated with that people can
Yes.
sign up for when they get to the website. Do sign up to that with a valid email address, and that will allow us to pass this information on to you seamlessly. It makes it really easy for us to get the word to you. We promise we will not spam you mindlessly, but we will give you relevant information that helps you in your outdoor adventures as much as we can.
Correct. All right. So
we've got some interesting guests this week, Pat. We've alluded to this set of guests for 2 podcasts now.
We have.
And they're a young couple. They currently reside in Southern Oregon, and they were a delight to meet and talk with. And Jason and I have had several conversations after RMAC as well. And they're really trying to make a splash in the slug aspect of air gunning. And hats off to them. I will confess, Pat, like you, I'm not really that big into the whole slug jam, but I'm usually not shooting here on my farm. I'm not shooting at ranges or at targets that would warrant that, but certainly a lot of guys are. A lot of guys have 100-yard ranges at their house and they can reach out that far. For me, I need to get to building a slug gun. And speaking of guns, Pat, one of my favorite guns, the first FX I ever bought, I saw it at SHOT Show in 2017, and I was like, that gun it grabbed my whole spirit in one shot. I'm like, I must own that. It was a Crown, Mark I Crown, and it was, for FX, that was really a landmark gun with the laminated stock and the adjustability of the Crown. Not that the Crown was a stellar adjustable gun. There's nuances to it, but so since 2018, that gun has been rock solid. So I pull it out of mothballs because Pat and I worked on a mod to that gun and put on this ridiculous barrel that is crazy accurate. And it is, it's become quite a hot rod gun. And I get it out because I'm getting ready to join Pat next week for the Iguana Sniper Challenge. And I'm like, oh, Pat, I got the gun I want to bring to that. And my amp regulator absolutely took a giant dump. And I was like, oh my gosh, I've never had to deal with this before. So that was a long time. That gun held together just fine. So, do I think it's an FX thing? No, I don't. It's the age of Buna N O-rings. I mean, they don't last forever. The gun has been holding back, thousands of PSI for a long time. And the O-rings were so dry, or not dry, but hard. That I was very gently trying to get them out with really nice O-ring picks. And pro tip, guys, if you're working on an amp regulator, do not use dental picks on those O-rings unless you're really sure that you're just going to spear the O-ring and not touch any of those sealing surfaces, because everything in that amp regulator is brass. And if you've got a hard steel dental pick, you are going to scratch the living bejesus out of that brass, and then you're going to have sealing problems. I did find a company that makes a really nice set of nylon O-ring picks that I got that are freaking nice. And I also have a brass set, but I was able to get a new set of O-rings for it for, I think it was $11 for the whole set of O-rings for the whole gun. And it came with the reg rebuild pack. And man, it went right back to where it always was, which, was nice. But then I'm like, you know what? This is extreme field target. and having a little extra oomph wouldn't hurt.
Mhm.
So I did dial it up to about 45 foot-pounds, and man, my accuracy just got better. I shot the tightest group I've ever shot with that group at that power level. Um,
Mhm.
and the pellets I'm using are not something I would have expected to perform as well as they do in this gun. I mean, I've been a JSB guy for a long time, but these are the JTS pellets, and they're the semi-round nose, 21 grain, I think.
Oh yeah, the dead centers. Yeah, that's an
Yes,
oddball pellet. Yes.
man, they are crazy good in this barrel. And to tell you more about the barrel, it is an STX barrel. Thanks to Pat, he found that for me. And it is a Bullet Central tension carbon fiber uh, assembly on there that tensions that whole assembly.
Mhm.
And then the crowning gem on this whole thing. Big thanks to PJ Clark. Um, the end, the threaded end on the end of my barrel assembly is not exactly perpendicular to the axis of the bore. So it's got a little bit of a cant to it. And if you use a silencer that is the right size, you tend to hit the inside of that silencer. So PJ was able to hook me up with a 30 caliber Sumo, which you think, oh, geez, it's just a 22. What do you need a Sumo for? Pat, that thing is so quiet and so nice to shoot and just get out of town accuracy. And
That's one
with
of my
that,
favorite suppressors.
yeah,
Is the Sumo. Yeah.
with that tension barrel, I
Mhm.
hardly saw any POI shift even putting the thing on. So I'm like, well, okay, this is legit. This is a legit setup. So I'm excited to go compete. Really, this is the first time I've ever traveled this far for a airgun competition. So it's going to be entertaining to get all my
Mhm.
guns to Pat in time, and then find a place where he and I can make sure that they're still doing what they did when they left California.
Mhm.
Um, but yeah, I'm going there with two air guns that I built that I think I very high confidence in that will help me be the best I can be. Whether or not that's good enough to to get past Pat, I don't know. We'll have to see. Um, but we're registered. We're good to go. My flights are made. We are en route. Pat has cleared off the couch for me, and
Mhm.
and I'm good. Just throw some food at me every now and then and a hot cup of coffee. I'm good to go.
All right. Well, I'm sitting here thinking we need one important thing to do.
What's that, Pat?
We got to pay the bills.
Let me fix that for you. Hello, fans. We're taking a brief moment to recognize and show our appreciation for the incredible support of our sponsors. Their commitment not only fuels our content, but also ensures we can bring you the very best of the airgun world. Firstly, a huge shout out to Southern Precision Air Weapons. Ken is a master of hard-hitting airgun tunes that deliver unrivaled accuracy. Moving on, we extend our gratitude to High Pressure Pneumatics. Be sure to check out what Tom has going on at his store in Michigan and online as well. Let's not forget the remarkable contribution of DonnyFL. Their innovations in suppressors have revolutionized the experience in the field, combining stealth with performance. A special thanks to GX Compressors as well for their robust and efficient compressors that are an absolute game changer in the pneumatic technology and convenience. Be sure to check out Scout Air Guns for the Epic and the all-new Evo. JSB and Predator International for the finest in airgun projectiles. Affordable, well-made, and fun airgun products from Umarex Airguns. And lastly, we express our sincere appreciation for Sabre Tactical. Their tactical gear is not only about strength and durability, it's about taking your airgun experience to the next level. We proudly stand alongside these titans of the airgun industry and invite you, our valued listeners, to explore their outstanding offerings. Supporting our sponsors is directly supporting the Airgun Geeks, enabling us to continue delivering you the content you love and trust. Thank you for being the most essential part of our journey. Your engagement and support make all of this possible. Until next time, stay tuned and keep supporting those who make the Airgun Geeks a reality. Woohoo!
I always get excited when I see that run.
Oh,
How
I
many
know.
people are supporting us.
So Pat, we got to get the show on the road here because we're running low on time. Let's go join Christine and Jason and learn about their Dead Lead Air Slug Company.
See ya.
Airgun Geeks, I've got a rare treat for you. We're going to meet some new people to the airgun world. This lovely couple have started a slug business, and I'm going to let them do their own introductions because honestly, I'm horrible with names. So, guys, introduce yourselves and tell us a little bit about your business. And then I want to get into your shooting pedigrees because you guys have some very interesting histories in the shooting world. So, tell us who you are and where you're from.
My name's Christy Larson from Gold Beach, Oregon. This is Jason, my husband.
She's the CEO of Dead Lead Air, and I am the man that does all the
He's the
other
brains.
stuff, the brains. But I'm originally from Kalispell, Montana, and we make phenomenal slug, and I'm not just saying that because I make them. It's because other people are shooting them and shooting them way better than I can even. So we do 2/10 of a grain accuracy on our slugs on the Dead Lead Eviscerator. And those are 70 grain slugs. If you're shooting them out of a M3, you'd need a special mag, but you can find that out from the website that'll be linked on the page here.
Excellent.
So yeah.
So all your products are available online?
Online, correct.
Excellent. Yep. Excellent. Do you have a dealer network established yet?
We do. That? Yeah, we do have a dealer network, and we're still establishing one. We're getting more, and we have a lot of new technology coming, guys. So we're not just gonna do one thing just perfect and then just stay there. We're gonna do that perfect, and perfection to us is relative. We're always striving for perfection, so we can always do better and we can always make something better, especially when it's just us two. Making sure that your slugs every single slug is weighed so you don't have to. You can go to a competition with a peace of mind, not be up all night weighing slugs. You can put them in your gun, and if you do your work, the slug will do its work. So
excellent. So you've been through some trials and tribulations, kind of ironing that process to get that dialed. And what's really interesting to me, you're not a company that makes slugs for air gunners. You're air gunners that make slugs for air gunners.
Correct.
So you've got that nuance where you're not coming from the firearms world necessarily in slug development. You've actually grown that business through the air gun trenches.
So I actually did start out in the firearm industry making firearm barrels and making my own rounds for 338 Lapua and stuff like that. But I came with a fresh perspective to air guns. So I wanted to take the technology that's here and perfect it, because I didn't feel like anybody had yet perfected the slug with the ogive that we have now. And that 70 grain is about as perfect. That's 2,000 hours of research and development just on that one slug. And I'm talking about grinding off hundredths on the pin for the internal diameter. So until that slug was balanced perfectly. So you may buy a Corbin die, which is who we use, and they are a phenomenal die company. But if you want to make my slug, you have to do work. It's not just, you can't just measure my slug and then put it in and you're going to get an exact dead lead slug. So things have been changed so that we're not the same, right? We want it to be different. We want it to be as best as it can be. So we pay a lot of attention to that. Nothing leaves our shop. We put our slugs away like they're our babies. They are nestled tightly into foam, and we want them to get to you exactly how they left us. That's one thing we didn't like as shooters. When she was shooting Junior Olympics, you get a tin full of these match grade, and you get 50 out of 150 that are good to shoot. The rest are just practice ammo. No, every single slug you buy from Dead Lead is a shooter, is a match grade shooter. So,
excellent.
and it is match grade. And we're actually going to be coming out with a line that's beyond match grade. That's actually exact weight.
Wow.
Yeah. So, we're working on getting our tooling just a little bit tighter. And as soon as that's done, the other ones will be the 10ths that don't work out for that. So it's all going to be good ammo. Yeah, it's going to be awesome. I'm excited for that.
So you guys actually have some pretty unique histories as shooters. So let's start with you, dear. Tell us about your pedigree as a shooter, because I hear if you had to wear medals here, you would be like dragging on the ground. I've heard
Maybe so. Jason always talks about that. I'm always a little bit more shy to talk about it. Back in high school, well, I think it was probably more like 8th grade. I always went hunting with my dad and stuff like that. And I was playing basketball, and my mom was talking to one of the other moms. And that's when she found out about, air rifle competitions. And also, I shot 22 small bore. So we just were like, okay, let's go give this a shot, see if this is something we want to do. And it was instant, like, just fell in love with it, seriously.
Wow.
And obviously it's different than, what we have going on out here today. So these are, checking it out. It's, learning new things, the wind and the distance.
And let's talk about her mom a little bit. Her mom is one of the reasons why we started this company. She was the one that weighed their bullets and their slugs and made sure that they didn't have a blemish or blim when they went to shoot for Junior Olympics.
Yep.
And both girls, I think Christy placed 15th and her sister placed 10th in the world.
Wow.
Yeah, and they won tons of state championships. So we actually went and looked it up because we wanted to know for a fact where they placed. So I wasn't embellishing at all. So they didn't quite make the Olympic team. That's what that's kind of for, trying out for the Olympic team.
Sure.
They were just under that. And some of the guys that she grew up with and shot with out of the same club went to the Olympics and then shot somebody else's target and got disqualified. So they should have sent Christy or Mandy. So
wow.
he beat her out during the trials, but he ended up blowing it. And that happens. We won't say any names, but it happens. So
And 10 meters, no joke.
no.
I mean, 10 meter as discipline.
It really does. I mean, even with
Very competitive thing.
Yes, absolutely. And even with all the special equipment and like we always had the best of the best. My parents made sure of that.
Yeah.
But still when it comes down to it, it's about like we didn't drink caffeine. We didn't go out and do anything else that might get us injured or we couldn't do it. We, that was our sport. We lettered in it. And so
her mom made sure that the high school let them make a club.
Yeah.
Only one other girl joined so that her girls could let her in the sport that she wanted to do. So, and that you'll find that a lot in sports families. The parents are just as competitive about their kids, right? So, but just her shooting phenomenal. I have a story one time. I had this Beretta CX4 Storm that came out.
Oh yeah.
And it was in 40 cal, and it was actually a really good clean shooting gun at 50 yards.
Sure.
So we would put up targets, and for once in my life I could beat her shooting. And so
Is that true?
for a second, it was for a second. Only one. The next range session, I just was like, she was hitting high, and her group was like this big, and I said, Christy, what's your sight picture? And she goes, I'm just looking at the front pin and right here. And she just said, right here. I said, draw the sight picture for me. So the Beretta has little ears that stick up over the peep sight.
Sure.
So she was looking through the ears instead of the peep sight, even though she has that training, that just didn't register because the gun looked so different, like alien,
Yeah.
So as soon as I showed her where the peep sight was at, it was over. It's over. Because I shoot 10s, she shoot 10Xs. She'll shoot. I mean, like she has all of her stuff, her papers. When we get together one time, we'll show you like her perfect score sheets where she has the 10Xs, and you can see the ring completely around. That's a 10X. In 10 meter, if it's off a little bit, that's not a 10X. You have to still be able to see the white ring that was around that black circle.
Wow.
Yeah.
That's taking it to a whole nother level.
Right. And standing.
And I think, you know, a lot of air gunners never get a chance to experience what 10 meter actually is all about, and that level of accuracy. And the fact that you don't have any optics.
Nope.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah, that
This
is
all
true.
open sights. I mean,
This is true.
the challenge there is that, you know, that delta in focus and your ability as a human to be able to transition through those focal zones, hold that sight picture, get that trigger pull, and make that shot count. That's what
breathing,
cracks
everything.
up at. Yeah.
The breathing, everything. So
Everything. Because it would be, I think it was 40 minutes for offhand, which when you think about it, you know, you're only doing 10 targets, but it gets exhausting.
That's a
'cause
14-pound rifle.
Yeah.
yeah, I want to say mine was, I think the heaviest you could have was like 15 pounds. So mine was like right to the max because I did better with a heavier rifle.
Yeah.
But yeah,
Yeah, so that's a lot of weight. Even with wearing leathers, that's still a lot of weight. Now, in our high school, when I shot 10 meter, we still had break action, right? And we didn't have leathers or any of that. And I still made it to the state championship she went to with that junky stuff. I ended up not qualifying, but happens. So
Wow.
I never got to meet her.
I would say we might have met each other sooner.
I don't know though, because I don't think break barrels shoot in the same class. You guys are
I
like
know.
you know, Olympic grade stuff. We're just high school. So, but yeah, so she's got a lot of state championships. She's a phenomenal shooter. She should have been shooting here this year. If I had known that next year they were going to make us go be pro because we're manufacturers, we would have had her shoot this year as the.
It's been a while though. It's been.
Her out in the pro class.
He would have.
Yes,
He would. He's going to do that next year. That's what's exactly going to happen.
They're changing.
I need some practice. It's been a long time.
Win it.
It's not like you're hurting for ammo.
Yeah, no joke.
She knows the guy.
I know, okay.
Yeah, it's funny because Patrick and I often war back and forth on the podcast because he has a very different use case for the guns that he likes. He wants the lightest gun he can get.
Oh yeah.
He's walking around properties. He's carrying this gun for miles, right? Looking for pests. Whereas I'm like you. If the rules say I can have 15 pounds, I'm going to be at 14.999.
Exactly.
That's how close it's going to be.
My red Panda, I think, sitting at 21s. There's no rules on weight, so I mean, so I think stock's 16 pounds, and then my scope and my bipod and my bag, my bag rider, whatever you want to call it. It's a universal monopod. We shoot all DonnyFL stuff, and it's not because DonnyFL sponsors us. We buy his stuff. It's phenomenal product. And
so my apologies, everyone. That was totally my fault. Had a little bit of a battery fault there, but pick us up where we were, Jason.
So we were talking about DonnyFL.
Yeah.
A lot of people will say things which is just nonsense, like Chinese stuff is junk, and it's all about how much you pay for it and how, the guys that you go to, the manufacturers that they use over there, you know what I mean?
Donnie and I actually had this conversation at EWA in Germany.
Yeah. Wow. He has the care that they put into their product over there. And I know this is supposed to be about me, but it's not. It's about the industry, right?
Yeah.
And us being new, him taking us in and being willing to sell our slugs, we super appreciate that. Yeah. And we're working with him when we're working on a slug that hopefully will be able to work very, very well in the Panda. And we're putting that first foot forward. These are all going to be way longer. It's 3/4 of an inch. So you're going to be pushing 60 grain slugs in 22. Just that's a guesstimate. I'm not going to put an exact number on it, but we're going to be achieving some real energy. Yeah, exactly. It'll be a quarter MOA at 50, or it doesn't leave our shop. And then other guys test it. And when they give us the go ahead, they say it's accurate enough, then we sell. Nothing just oh, I think this is a good idea, and gets put out. No, hours and every slug design that comes from us, hours and hours put into. And we think we just worked a deal for ballistic tips, so we should have a ballistic tip coming out very, very soon.
Excellent. Excellent. You've got some other innovative stuff headed this way. I don't know how ready you are to talk about it yet, but I got to see it and I was quite impressed with it. It's pretty cool stuff.
It's gonna be cool, and there's gonna be a metal version of that, I think, too, that we're gonna be working with some other people on.
Nice.
So yeah, we're gonna start making these air guns. We're getting the speeds now. We're gonna start making these guns where they're a viable hunting option for people.
Yeah.
So
Not that they aren't already. I mean,
well, they're
I use air guns
Yeah.
exclusively on my farm for pest control.
but
Because of that limited range that the pellet gives me, I'm not worried about shredding my barn up,
right.
Right.
penetration or missing, or not that I ever miss, because I
Right.
don't.
The equipment never you miss. The equipment never misses.
Right. Yeah. I hear you.
I always say that if you put our slugs have a dream of a 10x every time. If you put it there, it's where it's
Do
going.
your job.
If you do your job, it's gonna go there. So
Yeah.
Yeah.
And if you're shooting a red panda, the only thing to blame is probably you.
yeah, like if I don't do good at bench rest today, it's don't blame the pellets and don't blame the gun. It's the wind.
Yeah.
So
Bad wind call. Bad wind call.
let's talk about bench rest for a minute at RMAC. Can you shoot slugs in bench rest?
No, you cannot. It's
So
pellet
pellets
only.
only.
Yeah. Or we would be shooting our slug. Yeah.
That's funny.
Yeah.
That's funny. Do you guys ever look to a future where you might also develop pellets for things like this, for this exact situation?
We're talking about it. Tooling's different because it would be a swedged product as well. Because that's where you get your accuracy. It wouldn't be a poured lead slug. And how that works is it clamshells and then goes down in your pin presses, and then as you come up, and so there's a couple companies. If they see this and want to reach out to us and want to try to work with a company that's willing to test things, do research and development on a smaller scale, maybe to get out to a market, we'll be using it for production, but so that other guys, regular guys, want to be able to make their own pellets and have control of their destiny themselves.
Sure.
And that's awesome. And now the rules here, like last year, I mean, you have to be a registered and licensed company. You can't just make your own pellets and come to RMAC and shoot them. They have to be a company that's available in the open market. So, and we had just got there last year for RMAC. So, luckily there wasn't like you need to have sold 2 million rounds or we would have been not able to be, but I'm pretty sure that you can't just walk in and use your own slugs. So I'm pretty sure I read that in the rules. So if I'm wrong, I'm sorry.
Well, I have been delighted to have met you guys here at RMAC 2024.
Very nice to meet
And
you.
all of your contact information and your link to your website is all going to be in the description of this video. It's going to be on the screen right here, and it's also going to be in the pinned comment. So no excuses for not finding out how to find these guys and learn more about the products that they're bringing to reality for us air gunners. So I want to say thank you on behalf
Thank you.
of
We
the Airgun
appreciate it.
Geeks for everything you're doing.
Appreciate it.
And we want to wish you infinite luck today. And I'm looking forward to seeing you shoot next year, because I'm telling you, there is room for women in air gunning in this sport. And just ask Kayla Nevius, she'll tell you. She was on fire last year. I haven't seen her this year at all, which is kind of sad. So we need you to represent.
All right.
We got plenty.
I'll practice.
We got plenty of beautiful guys,
20 guys.
beautiful women in this sport
Yeah.
to keep us interested.
Right? There you go.
Yep.
Oh, thank you. I appreciate that.
Thank you.
Thank you guys.
You're
Thank
welcome.
you. I
Hopefully
appreciate it.
didn't put my foot in my mouth. We read the rules. You got to be a licensed company.
He'll,
Yeah.
Let's be legitimate.
Yeah, you have to be legitimate. Yeah.
Can I have my mics back, guys?
Oh, yeah.
I suppose.
So what we're going to do, So when we're looking at a property there in Oregon, about 40 acres, and we're going to do our own shooting thing, and it's going to be a slug-a-palooza. We're going to invite all the slug companies out to slug it out.
Yeah.
And
That would be a great marketing right there. The slug it out.
Yeah, it'll be it could be the coast to coast slug it out challenge. You know what I mean? Like everybody comes, test out your new stuff. Even if you're an amateur slug maker, come see, you know, bring your new designs, bring your new ideas.
Best slug, send your best shooter.
Right.
And let's lay it down.
Let's lay it down. And then, you know, that gets them in touch with guys that are actually producing other slugs and maybe helps them further themselves maybe into a career into air guns and stuff. So that we want to be that far into the community. We don't just want to be a slug company. We want to advance the sport. And that's why I'm not charging $50 a box. My slugs, they're worth it. Trust me, they're worth it. We charge $25. We're competitive. They're with a little less slugs, but you know, we're competitive. So, and we want everybody to be able to afford to shoot our slugs, shoot good stuff. So
excellent.
Well, that's the thing. Like, you would see shooters, you know, when I was shooting, you'd have us who had the very best because my parents could afford it. And then you have the ones that were really good shooters. They didn't have everything that we had. You want to find that like somewhere in the mix that, you know, people feel like they don't stand out from, you know, from the rest. Everybody can feel
From the
like
crowd,
together, whether they're, you know,
there's
nothing
like the air community in the gun world. There's nothing like the air community. Legit, like you probably should have been saying this on the.
You should have said that. I know.
You know,
technically you still are.
Yeah. So I mean, it's a beautiful sport. Everybody is just wants to help you. There's no, this is my secret, you know, my precious. There are some guarded rules, you know, secrets that you keep so that you can keep yourself on top. But I mean, I have slug developers call me and I'll give them, you know, hey, lubricate all of your slugs all at once. Don't do them in small batches because then you're messing with your tooling all the time. Those kind of things I'm willing to help. So if there's a new slug maker out there and they want to call me, I'm going to help them because guess what? Competition to me means that I'm going to work harder and I'm going to make a better product for the people. So
yeah, I would say, in fact, my company Target Forge sponsored the very first Sportsman's Spirit Award at RMAC the first year my company was here, and we sponsored that, and we said we want the Utah staff to pick the person that exemplified that to the highest level. Right. And it was one of the best shooters in the airgun world. Found out somebody had an issue with their gun, finished his heat, handed his gun to somebody else and said, here you go, you're still in the game.
Shoot, this way it should be.
This is a great gun. You know, if you do your job, you'll still. Does that? I've never seen that happen in the firearms world. I mean, I'm sure it does. I'm sure there's stories, but it doesn't seem to be as prevalent as it is here in the airgun industry at a very high level.
Yeah.
You know, it's one thing to be, you know, just having a casual competition and yeah, you can use my gun. It's another thing to be in it for $20,000.
Right.
Yeah.
And somebody says, here, you know, I'm sorry your gun broke. Use mine.
Yeah.
Right.
No kidding.
Yeah.
And that's the thing, like, even if I know this is my first year, you know, coming here and shooting, I can still go up there and I can talk to anybody. And it's not like, oh, I'm better than you. Everybody's looking out for everybody.
Right.
Yeah.
I mean, really, honestly.
Yeah.
Because you go to some competitions, like,
yeah.
And I'm not talking like air gun, you know, but even.
We come from the firearms world and it was that way, right? Like I would help. Like if you didn't have a bag, your bag ripped or something, I'd give you my bag, you know. Your camera died and you were wanting to film your shoot, I'd loan you my camera or an extra battery, you know. But there's not a lot of guys in the firearms world that are like that anymore. It's very cutthroat. It's very, and so I had after my brain injury, I was like, I'm going to still shoot. I just got to find something I can do that doesn't hurt my body so bad. And so that's why
we're both brain injury survivors, right?
No, I didn't know that.
Oh yeah. I had a stroke in 2019.
Oh, nice.
Wow.
Well, not nice, but okay.
Lost my ability to speak. I, of course, when you're having a stroke, you
Yeah.
don't know you're having a stroke.
Right.
Oh, yeah.
And it's affecting the brain, which,
Right.
is the thing you would use to determine, hey, something's wrong.
Right.
Right.
I was totally euphoric. I thought everything was great.
Right.
Look at the
Goodness.
sky. It's really cool colors.
Yeah.
That's how I felt.
Right.
And then I went to try to speak to my wife, and she's like, "Oh my God, you're having a freaking stroke."
Yeah.
Dropped me in my truck, took me to the hospital. But
Oh my goodness.
yeah, I have
Wow.
$250,000 worth of nickel stainless steel in my head, stent that opened up that artery, and yeah, it's been. I know what that recovery's like, and
I did 3 years of speech therapy just to be able to talk, and then starting my YouTube channel is actually what helped me the most. Just thinking about, because right afterwards you have to think through everything, and you might say something in your head and it comes out completely different. People don't understand that. Also, my level of math before I was at oil field engineering level math. When they tested me, I was below a 4th grade level.
wow.
So I had lost all of that. Like I would just get frustrated and angry because I couldn't do 6 times 5. I just couldn't do it. Like my brain would not compute it. But as I rewired, I actually became more artistic, which is actually good in the slug world. So, and as a brain injury survivors, like vets and stuff that have been through that explosions, that's not what happened to me. I fell off a tank. I had a heat stroke, fell off a tank where I smacked my head at the same time, and then I hung for 20 minutes. Any one of those things kills people. So for me to even be here talking, I have a severe migraine right now, but for me to even be here talking is a miracle. And I'm a very religious person, but it's a miracle,
Yeah.
So I get to be with my girls, and now I get to airgun, and I suffer every day because of it, but I have to keep going. That's what this company has.
Have you met Zach yet? Zach is here.
The burn victim.
Yes.
Kid? Oh yeah,
yeah.
I haven't met him, but I've seen him. And
He's been on the podcast twice.
Right.
I had 2 whole episodes with him in them, and he makes our stories
oh yeah,
sound like oh yeah, here, hold my beer, I got this.
right. Oh yeah,
This guy was almost killed by an arsonist,
yeah.
Oh, wow.
was on fire, jumped out of a 2nd-story building that was burning, right? Smacked the freaking concrete, hit his head, had a brain injury, burns all over his body.
Which that usually kills people right there.
Oh,
Just the
sure.
burns alone.
Sure.
That much percentage of your body.
He lost his finger. Literally, imagine your fingers being burned off.
Yeah.
I mean, it's horrific, right?
It's,
Dude, he shot here last year.
Yeah, I saw that. I watched that.
I mean, that's poetic. I mean, it really is. So
there you go, right there. That's the airgun community in a nutshell, right? It doesn't matter your skill level, your disability. We're gonna make a place for you.
yeah,
And
doesn't matter where you've been. Come in, have a
Right.
good time.
right. Exactly.
yeah,
Yeah,
and I think we're forging, even this first time around, you start forging really good friendships that you probably even have never had, because everybody around here just kind of has the same heart.
Yeah.
But, we might all have different beliefs, but we all have the same heart, that giving, let me help you, you help me. And, so, and like I said, I've been a part of a lot of industries, and this is one to be in, guys. If you're not into air gunning yet, or if you are, you need to get other people into it, because the more the merrier.
oh yeah.
So
Yep. Beautiful sentiments. Well, Pat, what'd you think? What'd you think of my talk with Christine and Jason?
It was very informative. I did not know that she shoots that well. And I'll be honest, that's the second time I saw it live for most of it, and I'm still impressed on all of that. And a key factor to that, I got to give it out to Christina's mom, Chrissy's mom. That was the bridge that put those two together, And the funny part is they passed like 2 ships in the night at the competitions, which, you know, was interesting in itself. But the cool part that I was interested about, because the whole slug thing is, will it fit my barrel? They're all different. It's a very precise style of air gun shooting. The fact that they're a tenth of a grain means that's one less thing that Thane Simmons needs to do, is weigh his his slugs when he's doing PRS.
Yeah.
You know, and then they want to push that farther, and then they're not meeting that requirement for this bucket. Will go in the 10th of grain. That's going to be interesting to see.
Yeah.
And I could see him doing. Jason
I
doing
can't
that.
wait for their slug it out contest. If they're able to pull that off, I will definitely be up there covering that for the Airgun Geeks podcast. I think that would be a heck of a thing to have everybody who makes slugs in that industry come out for one. Here it is, boys. Put your money where your mouth is, and let's see who makes the most accurate slug / rifle combination, because you got to have both, right? And you need the shooter too. So there's actually 3 components there. But yeah, that'll be very interesting to see if that happens. And I just want to remind everybody, please do use our affiliate links for Airgun Depot, Cabela's, and Bass Pro Shop. It's a great way to support the Airgun Geeks and everything we do here without spending any money on what you're already going to buy anyway. So it's a great way to help us out and to make sure that we can cover the airgun industry and bring this news to you as soon as we can.
Yeah, and always remember to like and subscribe to the YouTube channel and get the word out and get people watching and sharing the knowledge. And if you have any questions or concerns or want topics discussed, you can always go to airgungeeks@gmail.com and just put in, hey, new topic, or reach out and say hi. We get those a lot. For those listening on the podcast, always make sure that you give a 5-star. I think Apple Podcast is the only one that does that. And you can leave a review. That helps with the algorithm on there, because the 2 top platforms is Apple Podcast and Spotify. And Spotify doesn't do that. But you can hear us anywhere you listen to podcasts. The big things is, have fun. Recently, with our country and all the stuff going on around the world, I just want to say, spend time with the family, grab an air gun. It's I think what's accelerated the air gun hobby during the crazy pandemic times. It just takes you away from the troubles of the day and just enjoy life. I'm also going to say that my wife and I are also the owners of, it's called the Lizard Extinction Agency. We remove iguanas, which is what Bill and I talk about. But if anyone ever wants to go for a hunt, you can just go to lizardextinction.com, learn all about it, and you can send an email or questions. You can even go to the airgungeeks@gmail.com and ask if you want. Now, Bill, we did have listeners come out and shoot iguanas with us.
Excellent.
Yeah, it was Mark and his son Ollie came out, and we went to the golf course down here, and they had so much fun.
How can you not?
It was fun spotting them, because we were doing this at night, and they really learned what they need to work on, offhand shooting. But I'll tell you this much: the competition between son and father. Ollie is the son. He learned very quickly where he needed to practice. And he was practicing while we were shooting. He got so good. We're like, where'd that pellet come from? And guess what gun that young man was shooting?
Does it begin with an N and end with an S?
It does.
That would be
infamous Notos.
Oh yeah.
And it was pretty much stock. I mean, he had some, I think, buck rail furniture on it. But as far as like internally and all that crap that we did to ours, he didn't do any of that. And it was just, it was lights out. it was lights out. So much fun.
Yep.
So yeah, check us out. We appreciate the support. There are so many iguanas down here that we would have some good times. Bill's going to learn that coming up the week of August 17th. So, well, any
Excellent.
final words, Bill?
Just remember the Airgun Geeks rules for competition. Have fun and don't come in last.
That's it.
You get those two, you're golden. You're going to have a great time.
Yep. All right. So, who do we have coming up next?
That's going to be a legendary interview with RTI Airguns, where he talks about kind of how their design ethos evolves into an actual airgun. And I was fascinated with his discussion on that topic, and we'll be bringing that full interview to you the next time here on the Airgun Geeks.
All right. So make sure you check us out, spread the word, and like always, stay geeky.